Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of SeaBed. So, let's just jump right back in. It smells nice, Takako remarked. There were many stores in the arc-shaped alleyway, their display windows filled with a plethora of things. A wine store had a bunch of wooden boxes with bottles stacked in front of it. A confectionery had two transparent bags of colorful beans hanging above its doors. Its orange-tinted display window was packed with 3 rows of various chocolates and candies, shaped in the form of flowers and fruits. Sachi, let's hurry to the temple! Takako, who had gotten ahead of me, as I briefly halted to look at the candies, came back and clasped my hand. You're not embarrassed to hold hands? Everyone's doing it here. Remember that couple at the fountain? Those two were glued to each other. She pulled on my hand. Besides, we already went on a trip together. What's there to be embarrassed about? Takako let out an audible laugh. As we exited the alleyway, we found ourselves in another square with a fountain. It was surrounded by people who looked like street performers and souvenir shops that seemed to specialize in wood carvings. Turning to the right, I spotted a huge white pillar. As we continued down the bustling square while clasping each other's hands, another set of pillars appeared from the shadow of the one we saw from the distance. Whoa, it's huge! The triangle-shaped roof on the temple was supported by 16 big stone pillars. Under it, there was a long entrance with a tall ceiling that was shaped like a cylindrical dome from the outside. It's okay to go inside, right? I want to see how it looks. Oh, maybe that was Takako. Okay, whatever. Takako pulled my hand toward the entrance, nimbly evading the people in the crowd. I looked up at the dome above our heads. Unlike the entrance, there were no pillars supporting it, and I could see the blue sky peeking out from the hole in its center. After admiring the divine-looking pillar of light, we continued toward the morning market that was mentioned in the booklet. There were no big roads that led to it, so we had to use lots of tiny alleyways between buildings. Despite getting lost a few times, we finally found our way to our destination. However, being exhausted by the long trek, we decided to take a break, first take a break at a nearby restaurant. What kind of flower do you think that is? Well, which one? We gazed at the market from under the white parasols lining the restaurant's terrace. There were countless wooden stands next to each other. Sorry guys, my throat is not very good today. Every single one sported canvas roofs to protect them from the sun. Their assortment included food, spices, fruits, flowers, and other miscellaneous goods. There's a blue bucket with purple flowers near that stand. I'm not sure what they are. They look kinda like chrysanthemums, or themums, though I don't know. I wonder if we have them in Japan. Remember that vegetable store from earlier? It was pretty awesome. Who would have thought there'd be so many species of tomatoes? I wonder if they use different ones for different dishes. As we were discussing the market, the waiter approached us to take our order. You gonna order a salad again? Yes. As Takako spoke with the waiter, all the while gesturing like a crazy person, I glanced back at the market once more. It looks like a festival. It's nice to see everyone running back and forth with so much energy. I wonder if it's like that every day, Takako said that as she finished conveying our orders. It seems like this square has served a variety of different purposes over the years. At one point, it was a field of flowers. In another period, it was used to stage executions. I told her what was written on the building. Executions? You know, like flogging. I wonder if the people who came here to pick flowers ever imagined the place would end up like that. Or if the people who were flogged here expected this area to eventually become a market. I'm not sure how that matters in any way. Takako shook her head, wolfing down the fruit she bought at the market. Like, try imagining someone in the distant past sitting in the same place as we do. What if that someone imagined that there would be a restaurant here, and that a woman sitting there would be thinking about them? Wouldn't that be incredible? It would have been pretty miraculous for them to imagine some Asian girl would one day be bringing it up to her girlfriend while chewing on fruits. I'm willing to bet it's about as likely as the birth of another universe or something. Really? Or rather, even less likely than that. Takako stuffed a piece of orange in her mouth and closed her eyes. Alright, now I'm thinking about two homosexual aliens from Jupiter having a picnic here after the fall of humanity, and thinking about two Asian women eating fruits at a restaurant in the very same place, while they themselves snack on seaweed-filled rice balls. If you skipped the homosexual bit in the rice balls, you might even be right. You think it'd be as likely as the birth of a new universe? That would be nice. I hope someone builds a temple for us too if that happens. Yeah, right. I think the possibility of the current gods punishing you for these ideas is a lot higher, actually. Aw, their conversations are really kind of cute. That's the kind of stuff I would talk about. We stopped in front of a panini sandwich cart that stood on the middle of a stone bridge across the river. It resembled a giant opened-up umbrella with gelato, soft drinks, and all sorts of snacks lined up under it. We bought some panini and drinks and continued down the road. I still can't get used to how cheap everything is here, Takako remarked as she gobbled down her panini. Her sandwich was shaped like a cream puff with cheese, prosciutto ham, and rucola herbs. Unable to watch Takako try and fail to fit it into her mouth, the store clerk helped her crush the thing into a smaller size. You want a taste? Noticing my stare, Takako offered a bite of her sandwich. I nodded and helped myself to a small portion. The bread had just the right amount of crispiness to it, while the savory smell coming from inside it, combined with the taste of ham and cheese, resulted in a truly mouth-watering culinary experience. Kinda surprised you can get something this good at that price. The restaurant we had lunch at was pretty cheap too. I wonder if it's their economy. Could be. Oh wait, whoops. Whatever. I answered her as I wolfed the food down. Then I took a sip of the Coke we bought at the same store. We could save money, quit our jobs in Japan, and move here. Takako crossed the river and entered another alleyway. That's one plan for the far future. Sorry. Then, maybe we should move here earlier and run a shop together, like the one we've just been to. You mean a cart? They had flower carts in San Francisco, too. Yeah, you see them a lot overseas. I guess it's cheaper than renting out an actual building. I wonder what they do on days with bad weather. With no air conditioning, I doubt business is booming during winter. On top of that, if the wheels of the carts get damaged or something, you can't sell anything until you get them fixed. Yeah, I wonder how they profit. There's no way to know unless we have the data, but given the amount of them in this town, it can't be that bad. I imagine you can insure the cart, too. I see. If you're so curious, how about asking them directly? I pointed at another cart shop at the road by the river. It seemed to be dealing in women's apparel and had all sorts of clothes hung up that blocked the view. Still, I could at least spot a female customer talking with a gray-haired, middle-aged clerk. Takako looked at the cart for a while before turning back to me. It would be cool to travel around the world selling your things, but I'd rather have a proper store so that I can design it the way that I want. I'm sure that bothers you more than profits. Of course! In either case, we'd have to study the native language here. Yup, let's do it together just like we did with English. I wonder if they have any movies in this language. I'm sure they do. The sun peeked out from behind the buildings surrounding the alley, making Takako narrow her eyes. The edges of the brown-colored roofs cast many uneven shadows on the road. Ah, that arc looks pretty cute! I followed Takako's finger to see a grated window with an angel carved in the arc above it. The wall was covered in green ivy, so it gave the impression that the angel was peeking out of a forest. I wonder if some ancient artisan made it. I imagine that's the case. It's kinda cool to have so many old things remind you, things remain in your town, don't you think? I bet if we moved here, we could also pretend we were living in the Middle Ages. That's all good and fine, but we should think about that after we finish paying off our loan for a 10-story apartment complex built with reinforced concrete. These buildings look like they're made from stone. Could they be like 2,000 years old or something? Takako furrowed her brows. Maybe. It makes you think of the Three Little Pigs, doesn't it? I like cozy wooden buildings. Would you prefer to live up north then? Apparently, the northern region of this place was affected by the architecture of neighboring countries, so they got a lot of wooden buildings there. It's written in the booklet. Here. She pointed at the picture of some mountain village. Then you can make homemade panini for me! Sure, but you're making the ham. What? The ham is gonna be homemade too? Takako shrugged. Oh, maybe that was the other way around. I don't care. We continued down the road, our shoes clicking against the mosaic-laden pavement. It's that roof, right? Should be, but it doesn't feel like we're getting any closer. We could see the bluish roof of the Grand Cathedral towering above the other buildings in the distance. Long houses with no gaps in between them littered the streets, which made it impossible to take a straight path to any one direction. It felt like we kept wandering around in circles for the last 30 minutes without ever getting closer to that roof at all. We lost sight of the roof completely after a bunch of buildings with brown roofs blocked it from view. Siesta time must have begun. Considering there were only a few people wandering the streets, the rest were probably taking a break or napping. As I was examining a window with sturdy-looking Venetian shutters. Sorry, that took me a little bit to process in my head. A tourist carriage pulled by a horse passed us by. I'll go ask! Wait here! Takako darted after the carriage, disappearing into one of the small alleys. I hurried after her, but by the time I turned the corner, neither Takako nor the carriage were anywhere in sight. I bet she got lost like a dunce. After checking my watch and realizing it had been 5 minutes since Takako disappeared, I decided that there was no point waiting any longer. I continued down the coiled stone road, using the roof of the Grand Cathedral as my landmark. I also made sure to check the booklet each time I found a significant-looking Gothic-style building or fountain. The booklet's pages seemed to look darker than before. I looked up and saw that the sun had moved to an angle where the buildings surrounding me almost completely blocked it from sight. I glanced behind me, noticing that both the road and I came from the direction I was heading and was completely devoid of people. I continued down a road full of shops with closed shutters and darkened display windows. Wait, then... Oh. Well then, maybe Takako decided to live there? Alright, so quickening my pace, I began to draw closer to another corner. However, right before I could make the turn, a person emerged from behind it and bumped into me. Whoa! Scusi! I'm sorry. You're Japanese! I looked up and saw a long-haired woman with a spirited look in her eyes. Her gaze traveled from my face to the booklet in my hands. Are you lost? She asked. These back streets are full of... These back streets are full of twisty turns and dead ends. It's kinda easy to get lost. I can show you the way out if you want. She gave me a friendly look. After I accepted her offer, she introduced herself as Fujisaka Nanae. She walked a short distance ahead of me, her heels confidently clicking against the stone pavement like it was her very own backyard. You're trying to get to the Grand Cathedral, right? She's probably heading that way too. What if you can't find her there? I'll go back to the hotel. That's probably for the best, yeah. Thanks. You're a lifesaver. Hey, don't sweat it. Even I was getting a bit anxious walking around on my own. I couldn't spot much anxiety in the confident smile she gave me. Most of the stores and government offices close around this time, and the place turns into a ghost town. In exchange, they stay up late and get up early. Being from Japan, I still don't quite get how their economy can function like that. Fujisaka kept bringing up all sorts of subjects, most likely trying to find something that would help incite a conversation. I suppose the siesta system won't stay around if it starts seriously hindering with their economy, though. Yeah. And all the Japanese will be shocked to hear that on the news. That it was a thing to begin with. Yeah, exactly! Her arms are super long. Holy crap, I just realized that. I kept answering the questions she brought up as we walked. I myself tried asking a thing or two. Fujisaka came from the Kansai region and was a year older than me. You were in kindergarten together. That's pretty incredible. Is it? Don't you have anyone like that, Miss Fujisaka? I was brought up in a mountain town in the middle of nowhere. I had a few friends like that until middle school, but they all eventually left to live in cities. Can't blame them for wanting to get out. Fujisaka spoke as she continued to lead me ahead. Well, what do you do for a living, Miss Mizuno? I run a design company. Only founded it recently, though. You've got your own company? Well, that's pretty incredible. What exactly do design companies do anyway? We design logos for other companies, advertisement posters, packages for all sorts of goods, and so on. We deal in anything as long as it falls under designing and doesn't exceed what our capabilities allow for. Did you come here for a commission too? Not really, I just like traveling. I see. Alright guys, so that is all the time that I have for this episode. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, by subscribing you're becoming part of a legacy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!